crew. We were brothers.
Watch it, they got a 50 caliber down there.
It's an ambush! Abort! Abort! Python 2-5, we're going down!
Python 2-5, reading you loud and clear. This is Firebase Echo. We've got our hands full here. You've got to come to us for extraction.
Copy that. I'm coming to you.
This place is infested with outposts and AAA. Watch your back. We just got word they're holding one of your crew in a prison barracks.
We gotta go.
Got your target in sight. Cover your ears, buddy. It's gonna get loud. Outstanding. We'll be waiting for you.
Welcome to the fourth Far Cry 5 live stream, live from Montreal Studios in Montreal, in the live stream. I'm Laureline, community developer on Far Cry, and today we have quite a busy agenda. First, to kick off this live stream, we will see the first 20 minutes of Far Cry 5 Hours of Darkness DLC. And to talk about it, I'm very happy to have with me Julien. Hello, Julien.
Hey, guys.
Who is a game director for Hours of Darkness, coming from Shanghai Studios, where the DLC has been developed. And to play for us, Nolan, that you might remember for a previous live stream, and
Yes.
who is a lead developer.
Lead dev tester.
Lead dev tester, sorry.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Well, one day.
Maybe one day, we'll see.
Probably. Next, I will be welcoming Nicolas, who is a technical artist, and we will walk us through the map editor. We will also have a raffle coming by the end of the stream, so stay tuned. It will be indicated in the chat. And actually, in the chat, we have a moderation crew on Twitch and on YouTube. You can ask all your questions, and they're gonna help us answer them. But yeah, first, if you haven't heard of Far Cry 5 Hours of Darkness, it's the first of the 3 post-launch DLC for Far Cry 5 that has been released today, actually, on all platforms. It's a solo adventure, but you can also play it in co-op from the very start of the DLC.
Yes.
That's a first.
Very well.
You can buy it as a standalone DLC if you have Far Cry 5, but you can also acquire it by buying the Season Pass. And you will then have the 2 other DLC that are coming later on this summer. Lost on Mars, the first one that is coming in July, and Dead Living Zombies that is coming in August, and also Far Cry 3 Classic Edition that is coming in the Season Pass, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so before we start with the opening cinematic of the DLC, Julien, can you tell us a bit more about what we're going to see here?
Of course. So for this first DLC, the inspiration was really to get the vibe, if you want, of the 80s action movies. And in this one, you're playing Wendell Redler. But obviously he's younger in this one, and his nickname is Cowboy, which is also why in the main game he has a cowboy hat.
Yeah, because we can see Wendell in Far Cry 5, County, right?
Yes.
He's a quest giver.
So you're playing Wendell, who ends up being held a prisoner in Vietnam, and he needs to escape and hopefully save his buddies. So this is what we'll be watching.
Okay, well, we can watch it now. I think it will be starting.
Okay.
All right, so it seems we're having some technical difficulties, so we'll be explaining a little bit what's going on. So it's Wendell with his crew. They are in a chopper. There's also Moses, Joker, and Yokel, which are 3 of his buddies, the one that will be captured. And then as you can see, they are getting into...
Should we read the subtitles with the turn?
I don't know if we need to do that. We have audio again?
We have audio back.
All right.
Marvelous.
Are we going to hide again?
For the last 5 seconds.
We still got the other part, so...
In war, you stand with your brothers, come hell or high water. And if you're lucky, everyone makes it out alive.
Where you go to? What is your mission?
James Kenneth, Sergeant U.S. Army, serial number Romeo Alpha 46.
No! Tell me or you die!
James Kenneth, Sergeant U.S. Army,
We are
serial...
prisoners,
Tell me
right,
now.
in a Vietnam army camp. That's our buddy, I guess, here.
Sarge,
And,
do me a favor, cowboy.
Cowboy is Wendell.
Correct.
Dân lệnh đây! Tiếp theo là mày!
Oh.
I'm very sorry. Your friend. I'm so sorry.
Sao chúng tôi là giữ tư nhân?
How in the hell are we gonna get out of here?
Chuyển bỏ băng đầy. Chúng ta lên làm gì với cái xác của nó? Phải kéo nó.
All right.
You know what they're saying now.
There is a big panther in the area. They want to drag your friend into the jungle and leave him. I'm sorry.
Bastards.
Nhưng anh biết không? Tôi sẽ để nó ở đây. Tối nay thì báo sẽ đến ăn thịt nó. Đủ lời.
Nói được rồi đây. Hãy xem coi trực thăng đã ngưng cháy chưa.
Your helicopter is close by.
Ta sẽ xử nó sao?
It was burning
Có lẽ
too much
báo sẽ
when
đến.
they found
Là
you.
theo nó đi. Sau khi
Now,
chúng ta bỏ đi.
talking about that.
Coi chừng!
Fighters, they're ours.
Tôi không biết. Chúng đó thôi. Chúng có nhìn thấy chúng ta không?
Tôi không nghĩ như vậy đâu. Chúng ta đi tìm kiếm.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Fire đó không? Trả lời radio đi. Tôi đang trên đường tới đây.
And we're waking up. If you just joined us, we are live streaming from Montreal the first 20 minutes of Far Cry Hours of Darkness DLC. We were prisoners in a Vietnamese army camp, and there was a huge explosion. Now we're waking up in the middle of the jungle.
And at this point, your objective is to reach the wreckage of your helicopter, because while you were in the cage, the woman next to you was explaining you that they couldn't access it just yet because it was too hot and burning.
And for the moment, you're just running. You have no weapon, and you're trying to reach out your helicopter to get the first elements of gameplay. Just maybe a little reminder: if you're owner of the DLC or the season pass, you only have to download it from your platform, either Uplay or PSN. For example, if you're on PS4, and then once you have downloaded it, you can access it via the main menu of the game in the add-ons section, in the main menu. So yeah, now that we're just running in the jungle, we can appreciate from the start that the setting is really beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vegetation and really feels like Vietnam, or at least how I can imagine it is. What
Yes.
was the inspiration for
Yeah,
for
so
this?
the art team and the design team spent countless hours looking at various reference documentaries. Obviously, we're talking about the 80s movies, so we watch also a lot of that. But for the actual setting of Vietnam, the guys really spent a lot of time making sure that we were replicating as much as possible the beauty of this country.
Yeah, we could see some animals running around. So is there any specific fauna?
Yes. We have the iconic batarang tang, cow. We have the black panther, and a few other ones. Yes. So this is the one of the main feature of this DLC is called the survival instinct. So the idea when we were working on the Hours of Darkness DLC was really to push a little bit more the survival / stealth aspect. And the way we did that is that by encouraging the player to play stealth, every stealth kill he does gives him a perk. So the first one is called the adrenaline, so it allows you to tag NPCs within 10 meters. The second one is called Ghost, so it allows you to walk faster, and also it allows you to walk more stealthy. The third one is called the Sixth Sense. So you know in Far Cry, whenever you're about to be spotted by an NPC, there's an arrow. So whenever that happens, it automatically tags the NPC that is looking at you. And then finally, the last one is the Predator, which allows you to tag NPC through walls, but also tag them within 20 meters. And that's very handy because in the deep jungle with all the dense vegetation, from time to time you're not seeing the enemy. So the more you're stealth, the more of a predator, if you want, you can become.
So you're saying I want some of these perk points here?
Correct.
All right. Be very stealthy.
We have this very famous question that comes every time from Twitch. Bodma, is the gameplay live or recorded? It's live.
Yes, much to my chagrin, yes, it is.
And as you noticed, we just picked up a bamboo stick, which is the first weapon that we can get in Vietnam.
And my favorite.
And Nolan's favorite.
So we have a few exclusive weapons. We have the bamboo stick, we have the M16, the M60, as well as the SVD, which are all like very iconic.
Yeah, and it's actually weapons that you can bring back in the main game.
Correct.
If you have the DLC or the season pass.
Copy that. I'm coming to you. Python 2-5 out.
So now that we reach our helicopter, what is our next target?
So at this point, you don't have all the information just yet. So the HQ is informing you that they are pretty busy. So your first main mission is really to reach the extraction point. But obviously, as you're doing that, you'll be encountering a lot of objective, prisoner of war, whether they are local people or soldier that you were with in the helicopter.
So it's a really open world first, and you discover what's your environment little by little.
Well, there's no specific order. You can really tackle it in any way you want.
Oh.
Stealth. Stealth is pretty big in this DLC, I think. We can see we have like two tokens on the side for stealth. So hopefully Nolan will get the two other ones.
I'm gonna get him.
Yes, nice. The third one and the fourth one.
Good.
I need my stick. Where'd it go?
So now that he has the fourth stealth element, what does it bring to his gameplay?
Okay, but he's at this point he's able to tag any NPC within 20 meters. He's walking faster. He's more silent, and then if any NPC was to start detecting him, so again the classic, if you want, detection arrow, this NPC would get tagged.
Yeah.
Right away. Sorry, I say NPC, enemies.
Yeah. And if he gets detected, he's gonna lose them.
Yes, but then you can just re-engage into stealth kill to regain them.
Okay. So the bamboo stick it is. The shovel of Vietnam.
And that is the other big feature from that DLC. It's called the airstrike. obviously the airstrike are another big iconic element from the Vietnam War. So we wanted to give players the possibility to make the most out of them, which we'll see in Nolan.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully more successfully this time.
Yeah, because we did some tries before.
to varying degrees of success.
We actually have a question from YouTube, from Supreme Gil, I don't know. How many weapons are in the DLC? So obviously there are many, but there are some new weapons. Actually, I have a list because I could not remember them all. We have the M16, as you said, SVD. And the 1956 Hierarchy Force M50 Cal that you can bring back to Far Cry 5 main game. And a helicopter, too.
They didn't see me. That's important.
Yes, you're doing very good in stealth.
Thank you.
Python 2-5.
Those airstrikes are pretty
neutralize
awesome.
an enemy camp.
There's a flight of Navy fighters inbound if you can use them.
Yeah, so can you tell us a bit about the airstrikes and the new tokens that we just got?
Yeah, so every time you complete an objective, you'll be rewarded with a new airstrike token. So if you were to look on the right bottom of the screen, you'll see it's 2 out of 5 right now next to the jet. So it means that you could use right now 2 other airstrike.
Okay, so the airstrike is really like the points that you place in a camp to attack.
Python 2-5, be advised, we picked up a radio
So if you're just joining us now, we're still running for our life in the middle of the Vietnamese jungle during the war, and we're trying to reach our extraction point. We're playing as Wendell Redler, who is a Far Cry 5 character, I mean, that we met in the main game, but when he was younger and was still called the cowboy.
Yeah. So at this point, the HQ just informed you that they were picking radio signal, so they know that the 3 people, the 3 squad mates that were in the helicopter are alive and L captured. So obviously these are a big objective that you can decide to engage in.
Yeah, so we are now going to save the first one, right?
I think that's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Great. Another question regarding the weapon coming from YouTube, Greyhound. Are we getting the weapons in the editor? And yes, in 2 title updates actually.
All right, so whenever you approach a new zone in this DLC, there's going to be AA guns, which are limiting your ability to call airstrike. So in order to be able to recall airstrike, you need to take down the AA gun.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at the same icon we were talking about moments ago, now you see that there's an icon over there.
Yeah, it's crossed, so it means we can't use our airstrikes. And surprisingly, we still have all our stealth tokens.
Is it really surprising? Is that?
Well, maybe.
Oh, ye of little faith.
I love these shots when you just swim back up and you see the moon.
Struggle to swim in a waterfall, yes.
You cannot run forever. Our soldiers know where you are. And they know where you are going. They will catch you.
And back with our bamboo stick.
Give up.
Eh?
And you
No.
I'm sorry.
Aw.
Right, so now we're hearing propaganda, so that's another one of the objectives that you can engage in, which is to destroy all the propaganda speakers in the region.
save yourself.
Okay, and what will happen once you reach this, you complete this challenge?
It held the war effort, and then the your score at the end will be way better.
Oh, okay.
We don't like this. Get rid of that.
Yeah, definitely not.
Get rid of it.
And now we found a bow and arrows.
Very good for stealth.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe we could have a look at the map,
Sure.
right? To see, because I've seen a couple of questions in the chat to see where is our objectives and where we are now.
Yep. So you can see the AA gun. This is the AA gun that you would need to take out to gain back the airstrike in that area. And then if we were to go at the far right,
That's our.
Yep, that shows you the extraction point.
Yeah. So we could choose to just go to the extraction point, but obviously there's many other things to discover, and three bodies to save.
Yep. Yeah, there's 3 U.S. soldiers to save, which are turned into gunfire. There's a lot of local prisoners. There are commanders to eliminate. There are bunkers to raid in order to get special weapons. A gun to destroy, various collectibles also. Propaganda were one, there's letters, there are also lighters.
Okay. Yeah, lighters, because it's actually little Easter eggs, right, from the mini game where Wendell is asking you to collect lighters. So now we know why. And this is our first prisoner of war that we will be liberating.
Oh, you did not die.
Nope.
Thought that was gonna.
Good. Whoa.
Oh yeah, we remember the window jumping.
Yeah, it always jumps through. All right, we're good. We're still good.
Yes.
We're still very good.
Good job.
Liberate.
You saved me.
It's never the same anytime I do this run.
Found one friendly POW.
All right, so freeing the local prisoner gives you intel in the region. So if we were to look at the map now.
Oh yeah, we see.
Yeah, we see now a new
we see
icon.
the difference exactly compared to last time.
Yes.
I think we want the airstrike, so
Yes.
right back here.
Exactly. Another question about the editor from Nightbot in YouTube. Yes, we're gonna have Vietnam AI in arcade in 2 title updates actually, same time as other assets that will be coming, like vegetation and weapons.
And vehicles.
And vehicles, true.
So if you look now, because he completed, Nolan completed another objective, he gained a new token.
Yeah.
So even though he's not allowed to use it, you can still collect a token and strategize the way you're approaching the map to gain more token when you find unleash the ability to use the airstrike.
Oh. Ooh.
Yep.
Planting.
Yeah, so again, in the idea of pushing the survival aspect, we made it so that whenever you're collecting 3 plants, it crafts you a medkit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we're approaching the new camp. Still in stealth, with our bamboo stick.
So every time you see a parachute, it's actually a cue for a dead pilot. In this case, it's the plane that we saw that got shot down in the intro.
Okay.
And then dead pilot equal lighters. So we're talking about the collectible. The lighters were very iconic in this era. Like every soldier has his own with like his little quote and or image.
Okay, so this is a part of one of the side missions that we can do. Nice. Okay, well.
Not that.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow, that was fast.
Yeah.
All right.
Vietnam is a dangerous place.
It is a dangerous place.
Exactly. Well, it's the first time that we die here.
Yeah, that's
That
new.
is surprising.
Correct.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Man.
Totally live.
Yeah. See, someone was asking if it's live. It is.
I threw the stick at him. All right.
It's okay.
All right, sorry.
We're back.
We're back.
Let's try to get that lighter.
All right. I think I scared him off when I came back. But I lost all my perk points now, so that's...
Yes, definitely. But just need to do 4 more stealth.
A few more stealth kills, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go.
We'll get there.
We'll try to fix that up here.
Yeah. We have a question from YouTube, from Eric Alvarado. How long is the DLC?
But it really depends, obviously, how you play. If you decide to like just dash, it's not that long. But obviously, the idea is to do as much content as you can and then save your buddies. The average playthrough is about 3 to 4 hours if you decide to really engage with the game.
Yeah. And actually, once you finish the DLC, there's a very cool part, which is replayability, because you unlock new modes.
Correct.
Right?
Well, there's two things. First, you get scored. So whenever you finish a run, you get scored, and then you'll see your progression with a special twist. And then once that is done, you can decide to replay it to get even a better score. Or you can also, as you mentioned, engage into one of the 2 additional modes. So there's one that is called the action movie mode. Mm-hmm. So this one is really to go even more crazy. You have more weapon slot, a little bit more HP. The restriction on the airstrike are less restrictive. So you can really play like an action movie star if you want. And then the second mode is actually the opposite, which is called the survival mode, in which you have less weapon slot, you have less ammo, and the enemies are less lethal. So this is really the more survival hardcore experience.
Okay, so you really have like different ways to approach the DLC, and also it influences the endings.
Correct.
All right, so
to stealth or not to stealth? Oh.
Oof.
Ooh.
Almost
took the decision for you.
One token back, so I think we can try.
Try to. I don't know where he's going. But the minigun is so fun.
Yeah, no,
we gotta try.
You're not a big fan of stealth, right?
You know, I'm a fan of it. I just not that good at it, I guess.
Well, you like to diversify. That's good.
Nice. We have another question from the chat, from the Gaming Room 15 on YouTube. Is there a day and night cycle in Vietnam?
Yep, there is a day and night cycle, but as the title implies, it's called Hours in Darkness because it starts at night. So it's a bit of a different system where the time of the day evolves as you're evolving through the game.
Okay.
Oh, he's rabbiting, so. No, he's not going to go call his friends, is he?
He should not.
All right. That's good.
I hope for you.
I hope
Who
for
knows?
me too.
All right. We have this A gun. Run! Nice view on it.
Firebase Echo, this gun is spiked. I took it out.
Good.
Looks like you're a forward air controller now. Call if you have
So now, yeah, we can see that the airstrike is back. You have actually 5 tokens.
And you also get, by every time you destroy a gun in a region, you're allowing the HQ to scan the region with recon plans, so it gives you more activities in your map.
Okay.
So on top of getting back your token, it's really a good way to discover more content within that small region.
Okay, and when we see this NVA camp, so what NVA means?
North Vietnamese Army.
Okay, so here we're arriving at our first friend that is imprisoned, right?
Yep.
If you just joined us in the stream, we are playing the first 20 minutes of Far Cry 5 Hours of Darkness. We already saved a prisoner of war. We found lighters. We fight with a bamboo stick and cold airstrikes. And now we are trying to save our first friend.
And probably kill airstrike again.
Yeah.
And kill and ask for another airstrike, right?
And we only died once.
And we already died once, so kudos to us.
Could have gone worse.
How many times did we die last time?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
you know,
it's not.
It's. I don't know if it's relevant right now.
Let's not bring back old memories. Today is a new day.
It is a new. Yes.
So, are you? What are you doing right now? Like trying to?
Well, I heard from a reliable source that there might be something useful in this little hut over here.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to check it out.
Oh yes. I see.
Oh, not on top of the hut.
What?
All right.
The famous one.
Yes, so that is the M16. Obviously very iconic from this era. We wanted to make sure it was in the game.
Maybe can you show us the wheel of weapons? Yay! Well, just for the fuss.
Not a problem. No. I'm learning from my mistakes from last time.
Yes, it is a
So we're being
tower.
asked by Colin Davidson.
Yeah.
There are lots of side missions like camping. Yes, there are a lot of side contents. In fact, in a way, the main objective is obviously to escape. Saving your US soldiers is also, if you want, like very major side objective, and all the rest are side objectives. There's a lot. There are outposts, collecting lighters, destroying AA guns, killing commanders. There are bunkers, letters, probably forgetting some. So yeah, there's quite a few side content.
Okay, so we managed to save him because yeah, as we could see, when we call for the airstrikes, we have to be very careful if it's to liberate a squad member, because they could get killed by the airstrike. So you don't want that happen.
Yes, and that's a very important detail in this DLC. If the gunfire are killed, they are killed for good.
Yeah.
So you need to be careful.
They can revive you, but once they're dead, it's.
Yep. Yeah, if they go wounded, you can still revive them, but once they die, they die.
Python 2-5. I've neutralized an enemy camp.
Python 2-5, all done. Fighters are standing by.
So we rescued you.
So
Good job.
Good. So yeah, Joker is a first gun for hire.
Yes.
There are two others to find, but we will maybe leave the viewers discover it by themselves. On this very positive note of saving the Joker, I think we can call it a day for the for Hours of Darkness. Thank you very much, Nolan, for this brilliant performance.
Close enough.
Yeah, it was
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
And thank you, Julien, for coming
Thank you, guys.
To the live stream and talk us a bit more about the DLC. Now we are going to do something very different. We are going to see a bit more about the map editor with Nicolas, who is going to join me on the set just after another trailer. For the time for us to clear the table and switch guests. And yeah, thank you very much for this first part, and see you after the trailer.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
I had a good crew. We were brothers.
Watch it, they got a 50 caliber down there.
It's an ambush! Abort! Abort! Python 2-5, we're going down!
Python 2-5, reading you loud and clear. This is Firebase Echo. We've got our hands full here. You've got to come to us for extraction.
Copy that. I'm coming to you.
This infested with outposts and AAA. Watch your back. We just got word they're holding one of your crew in a prison barracks. We gotta go. Got your target in sight. Cover your ears, buddy. It's gonna get loud. Outstanding. We'll be waiting for you.
And well, welcome back.
Hello.
As you can see, we have a drastic change of guests. With me now, Nicolas, technical artist on Arcade. Bienvenue.
Merci.
We are going to talk about the editor right now. So if you're not familiar with what the editor is, it's a tool that is available in Far Cry 5, where you can build your own maps starting from scratch with over 10,000 assets, I think, coming from Far Cry 5, but other Far Cry franchise, even other Ubisoft franchise like Assassin's Creed Black Flag,
Watch
Dogs, right? The DLC assets will also be added, as you probably noticed already, some Vietnam asset popping up in the editor with last title update. But before we start, actually, we got some info from our chat moderator that many of you are having issues on Steam to get the DLC that apparently is not available yet. So rest reassured that our team are looking into it, and we will keep you updated as soon as we have more information. So what are you going to show us today?
Well, first off, the map editor in Far Cry 5 is a really great editor. For us, we feel like it's way better than the Far Cry 4 was. It's a complex tool when we get into depth in all the settings.
Yes.
So for now, we'll just cover a real good basic of what you can do with the map, how to paint the terrain, how to level the terrain, paint it, add some vegetation, and also a little bit more about the Assassin's Creed, but Hours of Darkness asset that we have in this title update. So we'll just create a basic map with some asset, play with the environment, take a great snapshot.
Yes,
and then
very important.
That's going to be it. If you have more questions, feel free to ask, and we'll reply them.
Yeah, and of course, try the editor yourself, play around, and maybe we're gonna see your creation in the next map jam.
Yes, of course. So now we're gonna jump right into the map editor. I'm gonna start off with a pretty with an assault map, or we can choose a different objective.
Yeah.
Let's say we want to take an assault map, just so we can have.
So basically, the difference of the map types is about how you're gonna place your AI, etc.
Yes. Like assault mode is you need to kill everyone, and outpost you need to destroy the alarm. And then if you don't and you get noticed by the AI, well, it call reinforcement. And it's really up to you to build up your level the way you want with the different type of game modes. Okay, I cannot remove this. So first off, what we could do is try to play around with the terrain, play around with the tools that is available to you. Try to not make the level too flat, because sometimes, when the level is too flat, it doesn't feel really realistic.
Yes.
And the world is not flat, and we know that. So so right now we're gonna play with the bump tool and quickly just level up the terrain and just create.
It's amazing to see how.
Just to create a nice setup. It's really up to you to build your own. You can increase the speed if you want to go a little bit more faster. And we can create our own ways, our own terrain. You can use the ramp tool. It's just gonna level up, not level, but do a little ramp with a smoothing tool just to smooth up a little bit the terrain. There's the erosion tool. That's really great. which allow you to create a little bit more of the.
Because otherwise it might look a little bit too smooth.
Yes, exactly.
For real mountains.
When you want to build mountains, it's great to use. It's a great tool to use just to add a little bit more details. You see it add some more details to your maps, and there you go. So we play just a little bit with the terrain. I want to flatten up just so I can place a little bit of the.
We
some
actually have
assets.
a very nice message coming from Tom Vernick on YouTube, who is saying Far Cry 5 map editor is the best map editor ever made. So thank you very much.
We worked a lot on this one. Back to the map. I'm just gonna change a little bit the texture of the ground. Let's say we want, for this case, let's make a Vietnam team
absolutely.
map. So it's going to be a little bit more jungle, terrain, mountain. So let's say I'm going to take some
like dark maybe.
Yeah, some like the grass is burnt. So
oh, that's black. That's very dark.
It's real there. I'm going to take maybe some rocks textures that I want to use in my mountains, and maybe some more of the rocks, and have some mountain pebbles. And increase the size of the brush. Note that you can also, you don't really need to always stick with the circle brush. You can also have the square brush, which allow you to literally paint like a screen space.
Yeah. So we could
texture.
notice that actually you applied the first texture in the whole map, and then we're just applying the rest as a brush.
Exactly. The first slot of the texture will be applied to the whole terrain, and now we can just switch and add a little bit more of some more textures here and there.
And we can apply up to 4 different terrain texture.
Exactly.
In the whole map.
I'm gonna go real quick here, and then I'm gonna add just a little bit more, so I have some grass. Let's take some grass here. When we're making a map, it's really hard sometimes to get like a real good vibe of what will I do. To have a good sense of it, feel free to just take all the assets that is available and say, oh, this one looks cool. I want to make a map out of it. I want this to be the showcase on my map. And then, let's say for Hours of Darkness, I'll go in structures. So we want a Vietnam. Let's say I want to go in bunker. What do I have here?
So basically what you're doing is like you first gave some variation to the terrain, and now you're picking your iconic assets for the map, and then you're gonna work around them.
Yes, exactly. So right now you're seeing that we have different models available. You have like this house that's furnished with a lot of assets inside of it, and this one that is not. We wanted to give the player the ability to have a dress-up map. With that, I mean, dress up assets already dressed, and some empty, so you can make your own map. Just to finish up here, okay, this one looks pretty cool. Just gonna just put it in the back.
There's actually another feature that is quite interesting in the asset is the search option. It's available for the PC version of the editor that we are playing right now. But if you are on console, actually, one of our community members, Steve64B, created a very cool tool that you can find online, and I'm pretty sure that you guys are also using it sometimes. I think our moderator in the chat can pop up the link to the tool.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for doing that. It's a pretty awesome tool. For the PC, which is really great, is let's say we want to search for the bamboo stuff. Oh, not this. I don't want to go there. I want to go into add objects, bamboo, and then this will just give me a list of all the assets that has the word bamboo inside of it. And then I can create my own setup. I can search all the asset here and there. So I have my bamboo sticks here. I could also have, like, let's say I want to go for fire.
Yeah. Bonfire.
Bonfire. Then I have some particles available as well.
So particle is like the fire, like flying around, right?
Yes, the particles are only the particle itself, as you can see here. This is the fire only. Available as a particle, which we can use and put it pretty much everywhere that you want, and you can take them and whoop, you have this, and whoop,
Yeah.
You have these assets
Yeah, when
here.
here is a whole like fire built already.
Yeah. So if we
ready
want
to go fire.
I just want to place a little bit more of the asset to create a nice ambience. I have these, I have my mountains here and there. Boop. So with that, we're creating the basic setups of your map. We want to play, maybe we want to play some AIs. That here in the AI tool, we have different tools. I mean, we have different opportunities. We can add AI. You can add some animation points in a control zone.
Yeah.
We'll cover this pretty quickly later on. But for now, let's say I want to type one different type of enemies. Again, I want to use this defender here.
Okay.
And but maybe what I want is in my folder, I have a bunch more of a skin available.
Yeah.
Maybe what would be fit.
Yeah, and actually we're gonna have more Vietnam AI coming later on.
Exactly, and along with the vehicles and some weapons. So I have those two enemies here. What's really great about the AIs is they have those animation points where they add some life, and they're just not idle there. And what we can do is you can place some animation points.
Maybe what we could even do is first have a look at the map without the animation points,
Yes.
and then,
Totally.
play it with the animation points to see the difference.
So the way with this editor, what you can do, you can explore the map, which will just jump you right into it and say, okay, well, this is my map, and you can have a really good sense of the size of everything that's available for you. So it's really quick.
Yes.
You can go around and test and shoot, and you see, well, oh, okay, well, my asset is floating here and there. So maybe I'll just need to work around it and play around with the terrain just to smooth up things, so I don't have these kind of issues. You see here, the terrain goes in through the mesh. So ideally, we just want to level up a little bit more the house and.
It's great for controlling basically what we just created.
Yeah. So for here, now and then, I won't spend too much time playing around with the terrain, but
let's place the
like for the AI, I think I removed them. I'm just gonna add some more back. Let's say I want those military guys.
And the cowboy.
In the cowboy hat.
I like this one.
Yay.
We will call him Wendell. Well, he has a cowboy hat, and he's called Cowboy in Vietnam DLC. So
for the animation point, you have some of them also for the animals, also for the NPCs. So you're free to use them as you want. Those are enemies, and we'll play like maybe some asset. Some animation points for like. So this is like idle. Relax. I'm gonna place it around here and there. Oh, right now we don't see the animation point because it's currently disabled.
Okay.
So in the arcade editor settings, you can show the object icons, you'll see specific objects that will have icons below them, and the helpers, which will be the mesh, like a visual mesh of the representation.
Very good point. The different settings that you can choose for yourself when you start. While editing your map, you can choose to show different things depending on how you want to build or what is more comfortable.
Show control zones, you can show water, the fog, and also the painted vegetation. So it's really up to you to, let's say you don't want to get filled with all the icons and all the vegetation. You just want to like play around with the terrain first, and then you'll see afterwards. So feel free to play around with these settings. And as for the STPs, they add more life to your map. So
STPs being animation
points.
Yeah,
sorry about that. Animation points is they add more life. They add animations to the NPCs, and you also have the control zones. Control zones for the AIs will allow them to. You will be able to assign an NPC, an AI, into a specific zone for a specific action.
Yeah.
For this case, we have defend and defend cautious or move and defend. What we want is, I want to place this here, which is currently disabled here, control zone, and I want to just make a little bit more bigger. So these AIs, at the moment, they're not linked to this control zone. So I will need to click on my AI and say, hey buddy, Yeah, I want you to defend this zone.
All right.
And this one, I want you to defend this zone too.
So that it will be really the area where they're gonna wander around, and
Yes.
they are going to do the actions that we defined in the animation points previously.
Exactly.
Within this control zone.
Exactly. If you would put like other animation points a little bit further outside of the zone, they will not cover it. Now we play some AIs. We played in the terrain. We did some happy hills, as I saw the comment. I want to add some more
Happy little hills.
happy little clouds. Let's add more grass and vegetation around it. Let's say like around this here. I want to add. Ooh,
That's like.
that's a
big
really
grass.
high grass. I'm gonna take maybe this alpine grass.
Yeah.
I can paint it a little bit over here. You can also remove and paint out some of those. Ideally, you don't want grass in a fire. You don't want grass inside your house. But yeah, it's really up
But
to you.
inside the church is fine.
Yes. So again, we're going with the Vietnam, post-Vietnam. So we can add some more dead trees. I know Vietnam has some palm trees as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to add them a little bit later. But let's start off with these.
Yeah.
You can have up to 8, different type of collection brushes, which
Okay.
is the painted vegetation. Just note that they are heavy on the budget. And the budget, what's the budget? I will bring up this window. The budget is a system put in place that would just prevent you from having an overstack map.
Yes.
That can be either assets, vegetation, or texture. So always make sure to have a look at this here.
Yeah, and regularly, so that
Yeah.
you don't want to spend like hours and hours on your map, and then you open your budget, or even you try to publish, and
Yeah.
then there is an error, and it's because you have too many assets, and you have to
Exactly.
to remove them one by one until you fit your budget.
Yeah, especially when you're looking really closely to one area, and then you find out that you're out of budget, and you turn around, and after your map is done, that can be a bummer.
Yeah, it's unbalanced.
As you can see here, we have the collection, and if I just paint over, you will see that it's loading pretty much
you can
quickly.
See trees. Yeah.
So it's up to you to paint it the way you want. Let's say we want to add some palm trees. Just want to add
To add a bit more Vietnam.
Yeah.
And note that we're gonna have more vegetation added in a month or so with Vietnam assets.
Yeah. So again, we can jump back in the map, and just to see, we can see the vegetation that we place. We can see the AI.
AI,
Whoa.
yes.
Nope. Okay.
Oh, why do we have a parachute?
I literally spawned a little bit further.
Oh yeah,
so
it's because we didn't place a spawn point, so we
when
arrived
you
in the air.
when you explore the map, you actually spawn wherever the camera is. When you press play, you will play the map.
Okay.
So we have a cowboy. What's the name again of a cowboy?
In the game, it's in Hours of Darkness, it's just Cowboy, and in Hope County is Wendell Redler.
Wendell, all right. So we see Wendell doing the idle animation that we placed, and then
Just
we can
looking
see,
around.
yeah, just wandering and having fun. Then I can shoot at him, but he will not react to me because I am in explore mode.
Okay.
Well, like this guy, hello. I will just come back in theater. There's not much to do to really finalize the asset. We can probably play around with the environment settings and have some fun with that.
Yes.
There's also
because,
some
environment really gives and adds an atmosphere, right, to our maps. It's
Yeah,
very
totally.
important, and it should not be overlooked.
I forgot about those, but we can also have some different roads. We have a bunch more textures that you can just paint over and say, oh well, this is
And
going
we
to be
can
the
see that
pathway.
it, like really paint over, so remove the
Yes.
previous grass that we placed.
And you'll see. Try to be a little bit more. We can be like a little bit more precise with the bending of the of those textures, so like you really see the texture flowing around. And then you see the vegetation that's coming off,
Yeah.
but nothing prevents you from adding hand-placed vegetation just beside of it to add more detail, and that will just create a more realistic setup. As for the environment, how would you like the Vietnam map to be?
Well, I think that it should be during the night because it's Hours of Darkness.
Okay, so let's say I'm gonna put here, then nighttime.
Yeah.
And I guess you want to have a look at the moon.
Yes, I do.
Or where is the moon? Where is the moon? There we go.
Actually, viewers, if you're just joining and wondering what we are doing right now, we are using the Far Cry Arcade map editor, and Nicolas is showing us how to the basic steps to start creating a map with it. So we are now choosing our atmosphere.
Yes. So as you can see, I disabled all the icons, all the helpers, just so I have a really good vibe and visual of how my map I want it to be. So back to the moon, we have so many settings for the environment on this edition. You can also change the phase of the moon. You can change the size of the moon.
I think we should definitely get a bigger moon.
There we go. I think it's pretty cool like that.
Yep.
You can change the color of the ambient color of it. You can play around with the sky occlusion and some sky settings. Here
so
we
the
have
sky occlusion. It's just like how much light the moon gonna shade in the
exactly. Yes.
in the map.
So if you want more exterior vibe, put the sky occlusion to 1. So you will have the color of the moon spreading around the terrain. If you want more an interior vibe, just bring it down. So you have literally no light from the moon showing around your map. So let's say here, you see.
Yeah. What is better with it? With 1, definitely.
So I will just play around with some of the sky parameters that I have here. If I want, I can.
That's a very nice night. Maybe something in the greenish.
Yeah, I like the apocalypse one.
Yeah.
Or was it Bliss? No.
No. Yeah. Bliss is nice actually.
Let's stick with Blix.
Yeah.
And then we can add some happy clouds, and then to our map that we can play around and.
Let's add a little bit of clouds, but not too much, so that we don't hide the moon.
Don't hide it. Then I can just bring it back a little bit lower, and then we can have some wind, so we can see our trees moving.
Yeah.
Here, and then the fog. The fog parameter is a really complex part of this tool, but just to give a little bit more insight, it adds so much on your map. You have parameters for the bottom part, and you have parameters for the top part, and then you also have some specific and like more advanced settings for the scattering and the extension. So right now here, I'm just gonna lower it down, the minimum height, gonna play around with the extension, so I have a really clear vibe. And since this is more Vietnam, I like the fog to be a little bit more green. Yeah, exactly. So just gonna bring down the red color and the blue color balance. So it has.
That's very spooky.
It's spooky.
Like and it's when crazy to see how the atmosphere really changed with just adding a couple of settings, and it's a completely different map.
Exactly. And then you can add some backdrops that will just add more details around your map that you can rotate around it.
So it's just like adding to the horizon, right?
Yes,
mountain.
exactly. So if you want to go and jump back in just to see the ambience and how it feels like, it's super quick, and you see that, like in a few seconds, we just created that.
Yeah.
Of course, it's like we have this setup with our AIs, and then it feels it's super quick.
And I noticed on the chat that Steve 64B, which is Steve Butter on Twitch, was asking for us to add atmosphere and like fog and lightning. So I hope you're happy, Steve, because we did.
And it's the more like these tools, it's like drawing or like any other things. The more that you do, the more you get better at it, and the more you have it
practice.
The practice is the better. And there's so many maps that are super great and super. Then when we play, we're like, oh my god, like how did he do? How the person did that? And just keep on playing. Play the other maps and like download them and see how they build their maps. And I will give you like a pretty much good idea of how they set it up, and that will give you like insight for your own maps.
We actually have a quite technical question from YouTube from Schmack. And he said, I want to be able to edit quests and import into main game, and also have a bigger grid to make maps not a 2 by 4 square. So how would you change that?
It's currently not like it's currently not available to import like a specific setup from the main game, literally to have the same stuff and the same textures and all the same asset. But all the assets are there. You can, like, if you take like a few screenshots and you can build it on your own. There's a lot of maps actually that have been created out of outposts from Far Cry 5. So that pretty much covered this. As for the square, I believe that we're talking about the 1511 size. This is a limitation that we have because we don't want the maps to be too big, and we have to support all the platforms with the same editor. And then this is one of the reasons why we're having this, just so everyone can play and enjoy on the same level.
And also, I think both are the elements are somehow linked to budget, because if we could import directly from the main game into the editor, they don't have a budget, right? Because they don't build the game in the editor, and we would end up in like a little portion of an outpost, for example, or just even a house that would just explode the whole budget already. So that's why it's important to recreate with the editor smartly.
Totally. And we're talking about budget and how it's really important to always have a look at them. And just so you don't end up at the end of your map creation and say, oh my God, this is one really important thing. Always validate your map from here to there. We have the map validation tool that allows you to just see what's not allowing you to publish your map. And there's a lot of assets that are dynamic, so which means they are either breakable or physic. That when you place them like inside the terrain, you will not be able to publish your map because the asset might break or might cause a crash on some platforms. So have a look at the map validation from time to time, and just so you don't end up with 100 map validation to fix at the end.
It's the same problem that with the budget, that you have to check regularly, because otherwise you have like hours and hours of work to undo. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's important.
As you can see, like in our map, the map validation prevents us from publishing because we don't have any spawn points and we don't have any screenshots, snapshots out of our map. So quickly done, we can go here and into the game mode objects. We can have the spawn points and just place it wherever we want. Let's say I want my player to spawn in this area. Now I've disabled the helpers, but this is where he is. And then I need to take a screenshot for my map.
But there is also one thing about the spawn point, is that there is a direction, right? So when you place your spawn point, you have to make sure that it's looking the right direction, or the direction you want the player to see first when they spawn.
So right now, like if I would place my spawner right here, the player, when he will start his map, that will be the first thing that he sees. And
which is actually a pretty cool view with that.
And we can actually see it from here. And when we play the map, I'm just it's going to load the map with the loadout that you can previously put, and there we go. This is the first screen that I see. So ideally, you don't want to put the spawn point like in a weird spot or like in a weird wall, because you want to create a little bit more story to your map.
So it's important to actually think about where you place your spawn points, what direction, and not just randomly place them because you have to.
Totally. And it's a good way of like just giving a nice vibe to your map. When you start creating your map, I mean, when you play your map, you want players to have fun, like right at the start.
That's the main point of the map editor, to create fun.
And there's one other thing that might help you to attract more player and have a better view on your map is the snapshot. The snapshot is what will be the first image that your map will see, that the players will see of your map.
In arcade, when they have to select the map, or also in the or in the website.
Exactly. So, like for this example, you like let's say you have some AIs want to create a nice ambience. Well, feel free to like take a screenshot of your ambience. If you have worked really hard on your environment, feel free to take a screenshot of that. Just note that the snapshot is not the final take on your screen. On your map.
Yes, you can go back.
Exactly. Like let's say I want to put this AI into the air and have my screenshot. This is a really basic example, but I can take a screenshot and you'll see
Yeah.
And yeah,
or we
it's floating.
could just add a helicopter, for example.
Oh, that's a really great idea.
Yes.
So I want to add some vehicles, helicopters. Then I will search for an helicopter. And then I have this green helicopter here.
Yeah.
Then I can just add it
like
in the air.
Flying helicopter.
And then, let's say I want it in the background.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, that's it's kind of hidden by the smoke. So let's say.
Yeah, but it's hiding the moon now.
No, the moon. It's all about the setup. It's all about the setup.
Yeah, it has to be precise. Oh, that's great.
Then maybe I can just rotate it here.
Yeah.
Whoop.
A landing helicopter.
So I can take my screenshot here, take a thumbnail, and then after that,
We just remove it.
I can
Or
select
place it somewhere
and delete. Yeah, you place it, and you see the helicopter is still present.
Yeah.
So if you want to write down your map name or a user, a lot of players does that. Super good. It gives you your own visibility. Then you can take a screenshot and just come back into it.
Yeah. Or if you created a map with a fellow map builder, also you can write your first name on the thumbnail or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think we had a pretty good look at the editor. Before closing, actually, I wanted to start a raffle. So maybe, Nicolas, you can hold the rewards for us. Just present them to the camera. So we have this beautiful T-shirt. We have great presentation. Then we have this mug and 2 pins. I don't know if you can very zoom on it, but that's it. Can you? Oh yes, you can. To this one?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
With
it's like
Warcraft
looking at
5
yourself in the
dev
mirror.
T-shirt. Yay.
Right. And we are also giving away DLC codes for Vietnam. So once the moderators are ready, and they are ready, and they can start the raffle, !raffle in the chat.
Raffle.
Waffle to win these sweet swags. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For explaining us a little bit the map editor with this great presentation. I hope it was helpful, and that some of us are the raffle is open! ! Raffle. And yeah, I hope it was useful, that you learned some things, and maybe that we are going to see your next creation in the map jam.
Participate in the map jam. That's
yeah,
super
it's
good.
actually Nicolas' team who is looking at the maps and help us rate them. So thank you, Nicolas, for that too. Yeah, and we have Steve again who say nice work.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.